Are charity matching donation campaigns legitimate? Are they? This is a question that we get at Charity Watch all the time. Donors inquiring about when they hear these pitches from charities saying that a wealthy board member or donor or a foundation has offered to match your donation dollar for dollar if you donate by a certain time. Is that really going to happen? Is your donation really going to be doubled? Is this legitimate? The answer to this question is not straightforward because the answer is sometimes. Most of the time, frankly, this is marketing spin. Your donation really isn't going to be doubled. And let me explain why. Typically, what charities will do is they know that this marketing spin does a really good job of raising donations because it puts you under time pressure to donate within a certain time period. So in some cases, before you have time to research the charity, before you have time to have second thoughts about whether or not you want to donate, it causes you to give a little bit more impulsively because they're putting this sort of contrived deadline in place that you have to donate by this moment. Otherwise, your gift will only be worth half of what it would otherwise, right? So they know that this is a very good fundraising tactic, and that's why a lot of charities use it. What they will typically do is they will just ask a board member of the charity that is going to donate to the charity anyway, or an existing supporter, a wealthy existing donor that they already have on hand. And they will say, hey, you support our organization. Instead of just giving us $50,000 this year or $10,000 this year, don't do that. Don't just give us that money. Instead, let's put your donation, make it conditional, right? So you're going to give us this money eventually anyway, right? But like, so that we can use this marketing spin, let's tell people that you're only going to make this donation if they donate first. So in other words, it's basically a conditional grant in some cases that the board member, okay, that this wealthy board member is offered to give 10,000, but that won't happen unless you give first, and then it'll be matched. So basically, someone who was going to donate to the charity anyway, they're just sort of using marketing spin to convince you that that donation won't happen or wouldn't have happened unless you donate first. And here's the thing. Say that there was a $10,000 goal that they had, will match up to 10 grand, and they only meet 5,000 of that with your donations. Chances are this donor who was going to donate to the charity anyway is not going to hold the charity to this matching campaign. They're just going to give them the 5,000, the remaining $5,000 anyway. I mean, frankly, because they've donated in the past, and of course they're going to keep supporting the charity. In other cases, it's even less formal than this kind of separation, where a charity will already have the money. The donor already gave them the money. It's already in their account. But perhaps there's some kind of restriction that they put on it saying, this donation can only be used as part of a matching gift campaign. So then what happens is when you make a donation to that matching gift campaign, then the charity is allowed to move. Say you give 50 bucks, suddenly the charity is allowed to move that $50 from one of their bank accounts to another one of their bank accounts, or from some internal account to another internal account. So the charity didn't end up with any more money than they had in the first place. It's just they moved your money, or I'm sorry, they moved that matching money from one account to another. And now they can use it for general operations. And then sometimes the restrictions on these matching campaigns, they're actually completely contrived. So there's not even any kind of donor restriction or conditional restriction on receiving this money at all. It's just their board of directors internally decided, hey, let's take a pot of our general operations money and let's stick it in this other pot. And then let's say, hey, let's tell donors, we're only going to be able to move money out of this pot that we created ourselves into this other pot if you donate first as part of the matching gift campaign. So you can see that there's a number of different ways to spin matching donation campaigns in ways that make you think that your donation will be doubled when that's really probably not the case. It's pretty rarely the case. The only exceptions are, typically the only exceptions are if you work for a corporation and your employer offers to match donations that you make to a particular 501c3 public charity. Chances are that is legit because companies often set a certain amount of money aside every year to donate to charity. And so why not let their stakeholders, which, their employees are some of their stakeholders, why not let the employees direct where some of that money goes? And so typically if your employer says, especially if it's a big well-known corporation, if your employer says that your gift will be matched and you fill out all the paperwork and everything that's required, chances are pretty high that that is going to happen. So that's a great way to ensure that more money does actually get directed to a particular charity. And then the only other exception typically is when there are private-public partnerships, where, say, a city or a state is embarking on some really big public works project. Sometimes they want to make sure before they put the 10 or $100 million into that project, they want to make sure that there's going to be enough other community support available to complete the project. And so they will say, hey, the state, the city, we're willing to put 10 million into this public-private partnership to, make a park happen or something. But only if we can see that there's going to be enough other public support, public money from donors, independent donors available to match what we're willing to put in so that the project can be completed. In most cases, those types of matching donations are also legitimate because they're basically testing to make sure that the project can be completed. So I hope this is helpful. My name is Lori Steyer, and I am the Executive Director of Charity Watch. Please come to charitywatch.org for an article about this very topic and for more giving tips, as well as a list of top-rated charities. Thanks, everyone.